Are you tired of all the uneducated noise you're getting from the droves of YOLO meme coin peddling douchebag gurus out there trying to use you as their exit liquidity? Would you rather learn a competent university level set of skills that will guide you in managing and investing for the rest of your life? Join us 3 days a week at Digital Investor. Develop your knowledge of game theory, cognitive bias, macroeconomics, monetary theory, investment theory, psychology of the crowds, and more. For more info on Digital Investor and how it can help you, reach out at nickblacknext.com.
All right. All right. I think we've got it. The early bird gets the worm. There's like another, doesn't matter. There's like another saying that goes off that, like, well, the earlier worm gets whatever. I don't know. Maybe the early snake eats the bird. I don't know. Some crap like that. I can go on infinity. I'm in nervous mode because the cat's been going around grabbing wires, yanking them and running off, thinking that's real funny. Real funny. Okay. Oh, from Detroit. Hello. Okay. So today, this is our Tuesdays and Thursday episodes. So for anybody that's just kind of getting in the mix, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is Digital Investor. So it's about 15 to 20 minutes of public facing content. Oh, there's the kitty again. Nope. Come here. Oh, she's on one. You want to say hi? Here, say hi. You're very pretty. Say hi. Hi. This is Voodoo. She's usually less mischievous, but for whatever reason today she's on one. I fed him a different kind of. I fed them the chicken pate. You like the pate? You a big fan of pate? She's funny too. She'll watch TV. All right. You ready to go down or you want to go grab some more wires? Here, one last look so people can see. Woohoo! Cool, right? All right, baby. Go. All right. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have the Digital Investor Show. About 15 to 20 minutes public facing, and then about 40 to 50 minutes behind the wall, which is more geared towards, more specific investment decision making. Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's mostly public unless I cuss a lot. And then I nuke the video, but I've been putting it out on Spotify so that the 3 people over there can listen. But anyway, so it's on Spotify too, the Tuesday, Thursday show. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? You want to come back up? No, don't go there. That's expensive. Here, just stay here. Stay here. There we go. Anyway, I guess for now that'll work. And back down you go. Can't you go play with wires? Go play with wires in another room. Go play with other wires. This is not good. I have to keep an eye on her. She's She's just on one. When her tail's all fluffy. Nope. Voodoo, down. Hey, nope. Yeah. Good girl. This is why you close the door so that Kitty can't come in. All right. And then on Saturdays, so we have the Tuesday, Thursday show, which is the office hour show where we just kind of talk about brain goo, but not specific investing advice. That's, you shouldn't be getting your advice from anyone online anyway. You should be asking why they do what they do. If they're successful, if they're not, stay away. But if you think that they have something to add, use that to flavor the way you invest. But don't take anyone else's investment advice. You have to form your own opinions about all this stuff. Dear God, Kitty, what is it? Oh, there you go. Oh, she sat down. She's laying down now. The slower the tail gets, the more it's not going to be. No, there's not going to be any property damage. Anyway, and then we have digital private client. And digital private client is, well, that's obviously investment advice. That's what it is for. And we early invest in a lot of projects, one of them being Libra. And the token LIBE is the token. It doesn't exist yet. So for those of you that are trying to go, oh, I'm going to go get some tokens. No, doesn't exist. If you try to go get it, you'll get a fake or you'll get something else. And we'll talk more about this sooner. I put a couple of videos from the team in the Digital Investor Telegram group, as well as the private client Telegram group. But essentially, it uses Libera, uses AI and blockchain kind of data structures to redefine, to kind of scale into retail in various emerging markets. And they look for untracked purchases. And the idea is to get a bunch of small stores, help them get digitized, right? And create a bunch of visibility for those stores, create a bunch of visibility, basically monetize their data so they can enhance supply chains, they can increase the profit of those little stores, which turns out to be about a double on all their test cases. They can just about double retail for these small mom and pop shops. Why that's so important is those little shops a lot of times are the only source of income for families. Like that's it. There's just no work. So they make these little shops and stores. And so these guys at Libera, they are trying to, increase their exposure, create more enhanced supply chains, increase their profitability, create a more competitive environment for little merchants, and, build their brands, things like that. So, and their market that they're looking for is like, 1 billion consumers. So they're kind of starting in and around Indonesia and then working their way out from there. So that's kind of what Libera is. The token is LIBE, which again doesn't exist. We will give people contract addresses soon enough. But anyway, we completed our private investment yesterday night. And I think there's a couple of digital private clients that are like, wait a minute. I thought yeah, you're fine. We already earmarked your stuff. There's one guy today and there's two people today. Anyway, you're fine. If I've told you you're fine, you're fine. Don't stress. But we sent our money to them. So that's it. That deal's done. We got it. We expect a September or October launch. We will have, there's not going to be any, we're not going to do pre-TGE stuff. The thing's going to be like, it's a penny. It's going to come out like around a penny. So like, I don't think it makes any sense to do any maybe, but I don't know what the benefit would be. I mean, you could just probably go get them through Singularity DAO. The problem is if we do that, if we do like an in-lib token, then we have to go back and buy it all back. It costs Brandon and I a damn fortune in fees to do all that kind of stuff and just the manpower. So we're going to probably tool it one time. And then the cool thing, it will be a Matic token. It'll be on the Polygon network. So Matic. So we're doing some tooling for that right now for the exchange. And in the future, we'll be able to have Matic assets at Node Market. That's kind of cool. And I would love to give you an update on Twin. I thought that today I was going to be able to tell you the launch date. They have a launch date, but they're waiting for an audit to come back on their token contracts. So when those audits come back, I would assume would be quick because those are just boilerplate, token launch contracts. Then we will have a date. And I don't want to say anything and get everybody's hopes up. And then they've been not dragging their feet, but they've been very slow to get this done. Very slow. And part of it is, and I agree, they're like, well, we want to have a lot of utility for the token. We want to have a lot of actual product, which is strange in crypto because most companies don't have anything. They have zero product. But I think, fingers crossed, that tomorrow for the show, we will be able to announce the actual TGE date, like the exact day for Twin. And I will tell you this, it's soon. Soon. Yeah, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. Yeah, no. Yeah, buddy, I bought I had some Kentucky Fried Chicken the other night. Therefore, Node Market has a Kentucky Fried Chicken partnership. Boop, boop, boop. Read all about it. And here was the partnership. I wanted a chicken bowl. They had a chicken bowl. I ordered a chicken bowl, and Uber Eats, which I guess I'm also partnered with, delivered the chicken bowl. You know what? Uber Eats is my eating partner. It's Node Market's preferred eating partner. Uber Eats. Woo woo. Anyway. Okay. So yeah. So Libera, we'll get you more details on that. Looks like a September or early October launch. It will be available. There will be staking. Staking. You know how it is. All the pools and crap like that over at Singularity DAO. However, I am going to try to push the founders to potentially let us set up pools through Node Market so that you wouldn't have to mess with SFail. So anyway, we'll see. We don't know. We'll see. They have a lot of stuff already built over there, but we'll see about that. Okay, I think that is that. That's that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about game theory today. Let's see. If you become a DPC, well, man, at this point, you would have to be in the process. You'd have to have already started it today. Because I'm gonna have this thing. We had a couple of new digital private clients this week. They're getting their stuff. I mean, one of the guys wrapped his stuff up the same day. I would say it had to be done by Friday. And I don't want to get into minimums and maximums and all that kind of stuff on a publicly facing show. So that would be a Brandon thing if you wanted to reach out to Brandon about a private client. But I think, Howard, on this one, you've been kind of kicking the tires for a while. I don't think you want to rush into it just to grab one token. Like, that's not the way to do it. Do it when it feels right. Don't just do it to get the live token. Now, if the live token goes to like $2, you're going to be vomiting all over yourself. But you know what? If it goes to negative $2, oh wait, it can't. So anyway, I'll tell you this. We will be, Kitty, dear God, man. He is relentless. Bubba, it's okay. Here, come here. Come here, baby. Can't you just that'll be your corner. That'll be like your little corner. She's just staring at me and her tail's moving. Oh, here we go. Nope. This is what we're doing. Oh. At least she's purring. Here, do you want to do the show? Kitty, you want to do the show? She's so cool. She's very fluffy. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes kitties just feel needy. want to do some crypto? What are you investing in? Whisper. Ooh, she said stay away from Bitcoin right now. What else? What else, Bubba? All right, all right. She likes Filecoin. I don't know what to tell you. That's not advice. That was from a cat. So obviously, if you use that as trading advice, you're a damn fool. Do not take trading advice from a cat. Meow, meow. All right. Let's get back to it. God, she's just on one. Okay. So we're going to talk game theory today, and we're going to talk game theory in... Kitty, you're grinding my gears, babe. We're going to talk game theory in a variety of different spheres. We will look at markets. We will answer any questions you guys have. Oh, my microphone. We'll answer any questions you guys have. If you want to make sure you keep the questions where I can see them, if you put like a Q or the word question, see like he did, Howard did it right. Question. Bam. I just see that immediately. So good. Question. Q. Is this a normal 4-year cycle? Joseph, I think the whole idea of cycles is over with. But let's go look at markets carefully and go from there. Okay, so Bitcoin right now getting kicked right in the softies. Which anybody was here yesterday and we kind of talked about this. None of this should surprise anyone. What's surprising is that it's such an obviously weird reaction. Now, I don't think this is a reaction to the Fed. I think that the first little reaction yesterday was to the Fed. I think this is a reaction to a dump truck of Bitcoin hitting exchanges. And just goes from there. Ethereum, I mean, everything, as Bitcoin goes, so does the rest of the market. I am a bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised that Ethereum has held up as well as it has when Bitcoin sold from 70K down. I would have thought, or hoped, because I'm trying to make one more buy, I would have thought that Ethereum would have gotten beaten up harder. I mean, you look over 30 days, it's down 8%. That's not bad. But over the last week, it's about a half the punishment of Bitcoin. But, you know, when you look at these things, the damage is not very big. Like over in the week, we went up to 70K, we went down, we had all the Trump pump and all the Trump dump and the Kraken and all this kind of crap. The fact that Bitcoin's only down 2% on the week, it's pretty good. It's just that's such minimal activity. And what creeps people out is that the sticker shock of Bitcoin, the fact that, oh my God, it's 70,000. Oh my, it's 66,000. It just lost $4,000. Yeah, man, but it was 70,000. So it's like something that's 70 cents. It goes down to 63.5 cents. It's the end of the world. No, not really. It's very minimal. I speculated when Brandon and I were chatting. I think this was yesterday. I speculated that there would be opportunities to buy Bitcoin back in the 50s. And I think I was scoffed at. And I would I'll see your scoff and raise you 2 scoffs. So I think we probably do approach that. If you're dollar cost averaging, it doesn't really matter. Bitcoin in general, the trajectory is up and to the right in perpetuity forever. So if you think government behavior will get better, maybe Bitcoin's not your thing. If you think government behavior will stay as it is or get worse, then Bitcoin makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense as a savings account. It makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. It's not a direct inverse or corollary to inflation. So I guess it would be, it's not, the price of Bitcoin is not directly proportional to inflation. It sometimes over a long period of time, a long sample, performs better than the US dollar does due to debasement effects of dollar creation, right? That's every currency, if you think about it. There's no currency on earth that they don't make more of all the time. That's how it works. You print, spend, then tax, right? And now you click a button, you digitally create, you spend it into existence. That's how governments work. You spend it into existence. And then you tax the backside of it. It's never enough. You hope that you get to some kind of surplus environment where markets take off and things get jubilant and there's excess created, and that excess makes up for the bloat, the early bloat of spending. Because tax is essentially robbing from the future. I mean, all debt financing is robbing from the future to pay for the now, and selling treasuries and selling bills, notes, and bonds, and all those kind of fabulous government instruments. That's all selling the future right now. But if you also know that you're selling the future at a certain price and you're debasing the currency, and the future dollars are going to have less buying power than current dollars, then you know that that's a weird kind of robbery. You're robbing. So in a sense, when you're doing a home loan, you're kind of doing the same thing, where you're getting, because you can renegotiate the rate, but you can't renegotiate the price, right? The price is fixed. If it's fixed in an asset like US dollars, where the dollar keeps losing purchasing power, and this is the asterisk, your economic situation increases with debasement or with inflation. This is the key. This is the part that people miss. If your income doesn't track, then you want to be a renter, man. If your income proportionately directly tracks inflation or debasement effects, like if inflation is 7%, your income goes up 7%. If you can do that, then it makes sense to take a long home loan, because you're paying back right now, you're paying back expensive dollar debt with cheaper dollars from the future. So that works if your income increases directly proportionate to debasement and inflation. If it doesn't, it's not so simple. It's like, oh my God, my house doubled. No, it didn't. The dollar is worth, it has half the buying power. So, yes. And why I go off onto these tangents, I try to bring everything back to macro, because what will keep you making money long into the future in any market, not just crypto market, is understanding how the bigger gears turn. And so that's why I strongly recommend Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. It's really good at the basic gears. I mean, there's more to it. There's a lot more to it, but that's a good basic primer for those of you that have, some hours you don't mind melting away. Anyway, I try to bring all of these kind of discussions back to the macro, so that you guys can be kind of 10,000 feet up in a little jet or a little plane, and without emotion, you can look down at the markets and feel more confident in your decisions. Say, okay, I get it. I know what this looks like. How is my lady? You mean my beautiful lady Kitty, sitting right next to me, being very good? She's a good girl. She's a good girl. Yes, she is. Maybe if I can just train her to just sit there off to the side, she would love it. Anyway, question, is this the correct presentation of a question? It absolutely is. Question, what do you think is more likely, BTC to 56 or 70K? 56. There are literally tens of thousands of Bitcoin that have to either sit in wallets or be sold. And these are going to many tens of thousands of people that have been paper rich for a long time, 10 years. You imagine being owed money for 10 years? Are you more likely to just cash out? Like, oh, God, I'm finally done with this thing. Put that money in your back pocket, or are you going to leave it in? Gamble again. Roll the dice. If you do sell, good luck selling on Kraken. Illiquid ass. I love Kraken. The exchange is awesome, but it is illiquid as crap. Ugh. So anyway, there you go. Let's see. I heard average BTC price bought is 27,000. I'm hoping for 40K. I don't think you're going to see 40K, man. I mean, it's not impossible. It's improbable. Once BlackRock and the other big boys stepped in, those kinds of things, nah. Remember, they have enough buying power internally to just turn the on switch to different lines of clients that they have, retail, and just put the word out, put the marching order out to their sales staff to go out and pitch Bitcoin ETFs, go out and pitch Ethereum ETFs. BlackRock is kingmaker. So if they decide that Bitcoin is going to be $76,000 next week, it's going to be $76,000. It's not in their best. It's not in their interest after having launched this product just a few months ago that the price of Bitcoin crashes. Now, they can't do anything about all of these sellers coming from Mt. Gox, but they can put a constant purchase bias on it. So I wouldn't, don't bet against BlackRock. You can always bet against Kramer. I wouldn't bet against BlackRock. But I do think we could see the corn back in the 50s. If it got in the 50s, I would, even though I have what I feel is my Bitcoin stuff, what I want in Bitcoin, but I'd probably start adding. I mean, here we're about to see 62s, which again, to me, this felt like beyond obvious. I don't think we've hit the bull market yet. I mean, we have not. And that to me seemed obvious. And we haven't seen the real run in Ethereum yet. That seems pretty obvious. And, we have to get Mt. Gox tokens sorted out one way or another. And that too seems obvious. These are three pretty obvious things. As obvious as how dumb the people, the aggregate XRP token holder, what used to be the intelligent group. Listen, early days of crypto, XRP, you were in on something. Listen, this could be good. This could be really good. Until we learned how scummy those dudes are. Just a bunch of dirtbags. Just greedy, greasy, grimy, Brad Garlinghouse, bread garlic mouth, dirtbags. Just, and I don't know why all this rhetoric, when the Fire Gary thing came out, and then it was like, oh, there's a meeting, therefore there's going to be a settlement. Bull crap, man. You guys, when federal judges are involved, nothing's happening behind it's a little closed door meeting in the mop closet at the SEC. And Bubba, you got to get down. Oh, I know, I love you too, but you got to get down. So all these settlement hope. Oh, settlement, anytime settlement. Bull crap. Where's the settlement? Oh, well, yeah. Oh, nothing. Jesus. They're lucky that coin is like 5 cents. It is unfortunately, it's a zero utility. Now, I will say this. Let me give Ripple some props. They just started, they're trying to do some tokenized treasury functions, tokenizing treasury debt, like treasury instruments. I think they tried $10 million, which is nothing. But still, they're at least experimenting with it. And that's pretty cool. So if they keep going down that path, I think there could be some real value there. I doubt they will, because that would make sense, and they don't do things that make sense. They typically are a chop shop, and every partnership they get into, every with MoneyGram and all this, they all fail. in tremendous fashion. You wonder why that is. If using the XRP ledger is so good, how come every single partnership breaks? I'm sure someone will be like, no, we still have several partnerships. Yeah, I'm talking about ones that actually perform, where the companies actually use the asset in transaction. Every one of those companies ends up parting ways with Ripple. Why do you think that is? If it's so good and so cheap and so amazing, how come not one company that does what Ripple claims is their raison d'etre, how come not one company sticks with it? They all break their agreements. They're like, we're done. They're obviously seeing something that we are not. Well, definitely the investors are not. Kitty, are you kidding me? Are we doing this? Come on, man. You're killing me. But she's purring. When a cat's purring, you can't say no. You can't. Brandon right now is clenched watching this cat climb her way up the chair he gave me for Christmas. Whoa. All right. Make your mind up. Just get comfy. You just get comfy. This is what I'd look like if I had one of those little bits of hair like that here. All right. Come on, Kitty. You gotta get comfy. We gotta get business done. She likes to straddle chairs. She's very weird. All right. So we'll see. We'll see if anything out of Ripple. I just wonder. I thought the MoneyGram deal was going to be a big one. I was early in XRP. Oh, and I will say this. I made a lot of money off the asset, but it certainly wasn't because of the team. It was in spite of it. Anyway, God. All right. Question. Will they drive it down to scare all newbies or for no, there's not a drive it down or this. I think people have some theory or some idea that these markets are filled with people that are just like, there's a couple of whales and they're doing this to do this. That's all far too complex. These dudes are much more simple. They just want to, like the BlackRocks and the Fidelities and all these things, they just want commissions. They want huge, giant commissions. They're sales organizations. These are all sales organizations. All these investment houses, hedge funds, it's all sales. You have a couple of good years, you sell, you make a bunch of money, and then you pocket the fees. They get paid whether they win or lose. Oh, God damn it, Kitty. Stop. Those funds, they get their fee almost always, whether they do you right or do you wrong. So these things are all, they just want commission. That's how they think. It's paycheck to paycheck. Even at the higher rate, it's paycheck to paycheck. They are very futile, finite thinkers. They don't look out on the horizon of the spectrum. They are not infinite thinkers. Sucks though. Anyway, so there's not. They didn't launch all these products to try to scare newbies. That does not comport. Fetch is on a nosedive. Well, Fetch is run by idiots. Yeah, it's certainly come down quite a bit from their launch. I mean, my guess is they'll get some good enthusiasm when we get some damn clarity on whatever the hell the ASI thing is. If they plan to merge the token, they said, oh, we're going to have some more details and news. They were going to tell everyone when they were purchasing, that's AGIX, when they were purchasing with our money, their new boxes and rigs and units, and they chose not to disclose that, I guess. It'd be interesting to see if all of the selling that occurred for them to free up the 53 million or whatever, which, by the way, they said they were going to inform us before they did that, and they just conveniently forgot. But it's just one of the many, many, many things that that team just failed to disclose. It's like, it's beyond the point of even discussing it. Anyway, if you add 100 million in selling pressure to an illiquid asset, I wonder if the price goes down. Oh, it's hard to imagine. Well, perhaps we'll never know. man. All right. Do you still think 3 trillion market cap is the beginning of the bull run? Yes. And for those of you that are not staring at the screen, the current market cap of the entire cryptocurrency space is 2.287 trillion. So we'll call it just under 2.3 trillion. It was 2.3 yesterday. And the market cap of Bitcoin alone is 1.24. So you know right there that most of that is Bitcoin. And then about a quarter of that is Ethereum. And then there's all the other spammy crap. And I say that because of the probably 100,000 plus digital assets, there's about 20 that are worth owning and 20 that have real, a reason to exist, that have the potential for use, utility, and wide scale adoption, that intend to move humanity forward in one way or another. And everything else is pretty much bullcrap. We'll call it bullshiza. It's bullshiza. And yes, I believe that the cryptocurrency market cap for all assets needs to be where we already were before. We hit 3 trillion. We need to hit 3 trillion to be back in a bull market. And I think, does this feel bullish to anyone? Anybody feel like you're in a bull market? I feel like we're on the precipice of one, but I don't think. Now, we've made a lot of currency units. Those of you who have been kind of paying attention, we've made a lot of currency units because we were early in AI. We were early in a lot of assets. And as long as you're doing your research, you're going to continue to be early. That's the whole point of digital private client. Just be early. Get the guaranteed win, right? It's a lot easier to invest when you've already gotten your money out times 2 or 3. You feel a lot less emotional. If there's any of the private clients in the chat, feel free to say, tell me, does it feel better just to be early? Early rules. So early requires a fair amount of research, and then you kind of needle around and see if you can, in your own mind, create, a thesis where that asset would be gobbled up by other people because they think it might have use, utility, or wide-scale adoption, or the potential for wide-scale adoption. Question: when does free tilling end? They're releasing, not until they release the software for tilling as a service, which, by the way, they were talking about that yesterday on the private call. And there's another call tomorrow morning. I'll get some more data, some more news on that. Oh, that's cool. I'll get some more information there. But I think they're going to announce that tilling as a service, their software is live. Once that's live, there'll be a grace period of, a week to 10 days. So I'd say no matter what, you've got at least, until we hear something, you've got 2 weeks. I do know that they want to do that they want to roll that out pretty fast because they have some other things. They're rolling out a lot of pieces of software at Hypercycle. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And a lot of it, like I know one guy yesterday was talking about his group is buying 17 master nodes. Hi, kitty. So that's 17 master nodes, and then all the tokens that would take to, 17 times 524,288. So, come on, Bubba. Come on. What are we doing here? Just all day today, huh? She is going to, maybe when we talk about game theory here in a second, she'll relax. She's so cool, though. How can you say no to a cat that is very soft and fluffy? You can't say no. Did you know that they're purring? Actually, something about the frequency of the vibration of their purring, it breaks up tumors, it breaks up cancer. I don't know about in humans, but like in cats, it builds their immune system. So it's like a health function. So it's funny how evolution kind of tied that, feeling good, feeling happy to being healthy. There's a lot of that. There's some probably evolutionary game theory there on the science side. You're not climbing up again because Brandon's going to crap his pants, but you can stay here. Yes. You're very fluffy. All right. Well, let's see. No one's pissed at you, Howard. Anybody in a chat who's pissed at Howard? Get off the gas. No one should be able to say anything in a chat that makes any of you guys mad. Girls included, or pronouns, if you're a pronoun. Is anybody here a plural? I'm not going to pick on you. I do think you should buy 2 plane tickets, but I'm not going to pick on you. You can choose whatever you want. David Schwartz said, interview the XRP token is nothing special. Terrence, was it the same interview that he said, oh, and by the way, for those of you that think I'm not Satoshi? And then the response was, no one here thinks you're Satoshi, David. No one anywhere thinks you're Satoshi. Your wife doesn't think you're Satoshi, David. Now go and continue to be a nothing in this space. All right. No, Kitty's ruling it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I guess they did spend it. It's very frustrating. No, not true. Not true. And here's why. Most of us got into the Fetch and AGIX at or below 10 cents. Everybody here is still at a 10x. I mean, I don't know about everybody. If you were not asleep at the wheel, you still have a locked in 1,000% return. And you probably already once or twice took profit. So, I mean, like, I'm all on profit. So it's like swamp gas. If they get it done, great. I exited what I thought was fair. I got my 10x take 20. What that means is if an asset does a 10x, 1,000% return, I take 20% off the table right then. From then on, if it continues every time it does a 2x, I take 10%. So I got my 10x take 20, my 2x take 10. I've taken a lot off the table on that bad boy. I was buying that thing way back in the day when it was just called AGI before it became AGIX. Anyway, everybody should be fine. If you don't feel comfortable about something, exit. But just make sure you're exiting for the right reasons. The same reason you don't want to rage, you don't want to FOMO invest, you don't want to rage quit. Just do the math. If the math makes sense. Now, if you think that money is going to do better in other places, sorry, to be specific, if you think that those currency units will do better in other places, then go put them in other places. But you got to live with your decisions. You have to own them. So there you go. And you have 3 trillion. Well, it wouldn't. Listen, I think you're right about that. I think if only Bitcoin and Ethereum went up, that would be bullish for those assets, but that would not a bull market make. But you would see with Ethereum, so go the alts. So Bitcoin is like the ocean and everything else is the boat, but the biggest boat, the aircraft carrier, is Ethereum. And then all the little planes taking off, those are like the little assets. And then you have smaller carriers, those little like third world country carriers that are like old ones, like 50 years old that they bought from another country. And there's like holes, like just rusted through and all that. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, you had a 10x tied up in staking. Yeah, but Bill, it wasn't within a month that it dropped. This has been a 4-month bleed. It went up. Everything in AI went up. And everything, yeah, bam, be early. Be early. Those things will go again. Fetch, ASI, they're going to be fine. Remember, they got a big marketing arm. They can market the crap out of this thing. They got it up from, listen, at one point, Fetch, we were buying it for 7 cents. If they got it from 7 cents to $3, do you not think that they can't get it from $1 to $3 or $1 to $4? Of course they can. Marketing, bro. People don't do math. People don't do research. People just, they read the blurbs and they make decisions. They don't have time. They got to get home. Joe Sixpack's got to go watch episodes of what? The Bear, about a shitty restaurant with a bunch of shitty people doing shitty things to each other. What an awful show. I was like, it's great. It's critically acclaimed. Yeah, it's good acting. It's amazing acting. It's just awful content. I want to watch a shitty restaurant, I'll just go hang out at McDonald's. I had a McDonald's dream. That's a different story. I had this, yeah, it was weird. It was kind of like someone was trying to get me to invest in a McDonald's franchise in the dream. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's because I had heard a breakdown of their same store their statement 2 days ago and how they just got obliterated. And I guess McDonald's was on the mind, and someone was trying to sell me McDonald's. And I was like, I don't know. This is a tough sale. But I couldn't, in a dream, you can't recall all the information correctly. But I just know that it ended in like some kind of weird, like robot attack thing. Like one of the robots from the machine that was making the hamburgers started like going after people. And I'm sure that's because I watched 3 episodes of The Bear thinking it was going to be great because it's critically acclaimed. It's awful, dude. Ugh. Anyway. Well, I won't make price predictions because this is not the place for that. But we could talk about that tomorrow on Behind the Wall and Digital Investor. But the question was, once ASI happens, what do you predict the all-time high will be? I don't. I could give you some ranges, but I won't do that until tomorrow. Can we create hypershares? No, not yet. And it has nothing to do with us. They're doing some contract cleanup on their side at the Hypercycle. The core team is over there. So there, bam. Okay. Let me make sure. Will making a hypershare change the tilling status? No, you're still tilling. Jungle, what up? What up? I was in fetch. Exactly, man. We were so early. God. It's like kind of like, okay, it wasn't what it was, but nothing's ever what it was. No, one person sells at the top. Everybody else is in the middle somewhere. One person buys at the bottom, one person sells at the top. That also means one person buys at the top and one person sold at the bottom. There's always two. There's going to be one happy and one unhappy person all the time. No way around it. Yeah. Okay. We love Howard T. We love Howard. We love Howard. Ooh, what about, go bigger, Joseph. What about Howard T? Like those iced teas, what do they call them? Spiked or hard lemonades, all that kind of like tea that has liquor in it. What about Howard T? And it's an alcoholic. You say, give me a Howard. That'd be kind of cool if you're at a bar, give me a Howard. It's like a manly way to ask for tea. It's like tea with alcohol in it. Howard T. Spitting out pearls here. I want some founder shares. All right. Is there going to be enough hypercycle tokens? No. When they, and I'm going to get into our game theory here in a second, but when they, we've mathed this out. Matter of fact, Tufi was in town the last 5 days, and he came over. He and his family were over many days. And we talked about this specifically, and we don't think, matter of fact, I have the napkin and the pen here still. I left it. I didn't even move it. I don't think there's enough tokens right now to fit the demand once master licenses, the 512 license bundles start getting filled. I do not think there's enough tokens, which is a good problem if you're a token holder, because it makes you feel better. Again, I don't think the value in the hypercycle token is the token. I think it's the value married to create your hypershare so that you can participate in the revenue. I look at that one differently. It's the fuel for my node licenses. Anyway, okay. I think we got all the questions knocked out. Did we? Any idea how many nodes are currently filled? No, I have no clue. That'd be interesting data. That might be a Brandon question. I wonder if he could ferret that out, but I don't know that. So don't get me lying. Okay. All right. We talked about Liberia. We're good there. I think it's game theory time. I think it's time for some game theory. So let's switch gears. Let's put away our money hats. Woe is me, Bitcoin 62.9. I'll tell you what, if Ethereum gets under 3,100, I'm about to buy me some. Anyway, some dollar cost average. No, I have to wait till tomorrow. Scheiße. Scheiße. All right.
Hello. You're late.
You're bad at math, but I'm giving you an A+ in confidence.
Just doing what I gotta do.
Extra credit.
Okay. So here's the skinny. We're going to talk about, let me make sure my screen's right. Let me make sure I can see comments just in case. Well, let me get that old banner off there. You guys don't need that. Okay. We're going to talk some game theory. We're going to explore what I think is a fascinating world, the world of game theory and how it applies to various aspects of our lives, from the social interactions we may have to personal economics, to personal investing, to macroeconomics, even evolutionary science. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to de-nerd it as much as I can, but I have to. Some of the stuff has to be nerded, but I will unnerd as much as possible. But by the end of our little discussion, you will understand, hopefully, how woven game theory is into the fabric of our decision-making processes. And it gives you a lot of really good insights into human behavior and strategic thinking. And the reason we employ game theory is so that we make statistically better decisions than the people around us. Just keep it simple. If everybody's decision-making is, let's just call it basic decision-making, is a 0. You can do good things, which is a +1, or bad things, which is a -1. Dumb things, smart things, whatever you want to say. If you start getting +1s, if the average person makes 100 decisions a day and they have 50% of them are +1s, then they made 50 points. But if you're getting +1s in every one of your decisions because you have a framework for making decisions, you've just doubled the amount of positive decisions you're making and guaranteed very minimal or no negative decisions, the negative ones. Because see, if your average person's making 50 +1 decisions, they're probably also making 50 -1 decisions. Well, probably it's like 70 -1 decisions and 30 and 29 zeros and 1 +1 because they use the 1/3 fat-free, 1/3 less fat ranch dressing on their mayonnaise sandwich. That's Joe Sixpack, buddy. So compared to the aggregate person, the mass, if you're making just barely better decisions, just game theory just nudges you to a +1, then you just separate yourself from the pack very quickly because you have a system for strategic thinking. You've systematized this and it applies to everything. So game theory it's a mathematical framework for analyzing situations in which individuals make decisions that affect other individuals. So it's not just like I pick up this little thing. It's that what you do affects what everybody else does, and what they do affects what you do, right? Because it's all interwoven. The strategic interdependencies between players in a game, right? Interdependencies, connections. So game theory examines how rational agents, rational decision makers, make choices when their outcomes depend on the actions of others. We have to assume that they are rational, but it's not always the case. But mostly somewhat rational, right? So the key concepts are basically these 4 groups. You're thinking of the players. So these are the decision makers in the game. You're thinking of the various strategies that they might employ, the actions that can be taken by each player. You're thinking of the payoffs. So these are the outcomes resulting from the combination of the player strategies. The late Charlie Munger, the esteemed late Charlie Munger, said, if you show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcomes. Payoffs, incentives, same thing. So those are the outcomes resulting from the combination of different player strategies, all mixing the strategic interdependencies or interactions, right? And then you have equilibrium. And that's a state where no player has an incentive to deviate from their chosen strategy. Like they can't do anything better than what they've chosen to do. They've reached equilibrium. And ideally, you find what's called a Nash equilibrium, where everybody has the best possible outcome based on everybody else's strategy, right? So now let's look at game theory in social situations, which we find ourselves in many social situations in life. In social situations, various social settings, game theory can help you understand interactions like cooperation, competition, and if you have any kind of extended family, negotiation. And they're the kind of the three things you want to focus on are, one, you think when you're thinking competition, cooperation, negotiation, sometimes there's a little bit of all of that going on at the same time. Two competing gas stations can cooperate after a successful negotiation to keep prices fair to their all clientele and not overcompete each other, not overfish, and have the best outcome. They can reach a Nash equilibrium. They have in one business dealing negotiated, even though they're competing, a position of cooperation it might be, it's going to be the most optimal kind of scenario for them, right? Versus one of them making money, the other one failing, then that one, right? So there's always some degree of cooperation, competition, negotiation. All right. So keep that in mind. You're going to hear the prisoner's dilemma. So this is that classic example that illustrates the conflict between individual interest and mutual benefit. And basically it's, you have two individuals that they've both been caught for a crime, and they can either cooperate or they can betray each other, which is cooperation or defection. You'll hear the defect word, the defect. Cooperate or defect. And while mutual cooperation yields the best outcome for both of them, individual incentives often lead to betrayal or defection. And this highlights the challenges of trust and cooperation in society. Basically, the deal is they both got caught. They know they're in separate rooms, and the cops approach both of them and say, listen, if you snitch out your buddy, you're only going to get 1 year. But if you keep your mouth shut and he snitches you out, you're going to get 10 years. Now, if neither one of you talks, you're going to walk. But are you sure that your buddy's not going to talk and take that 1 year versus the chance on potentially getting 10 years? And knowing that, are you going to keep your mouth shut and risk 10 years? Or are you just going to talk and take 1 year? Hell, well, time served you. It's California. By the time this negotiation's done, you'll be time served. That's the prisoner's dilemma. So the Nash equilibrium is they both snitch each other and they both get 1 year. Time served. They're back out on the street. They're breaking into houses by 3 p.m. Woo! Do you realize, in California, they made it where like daytime burglary is a misdemeanor. It's not a felony, so they can clear out the prisons. If someone's there, it's a felony and they can kill you. But if no one's there, it's a misdemeanor. It's like a damn ticket. Some bull crap. Anyway, sidebar. Okay, let's talk about coordinated games. These are the kind of games that emphasize the importance of aligning strategies for mutual benefit. So example of this would be deciding on social norms, driving on one specific side of the road, right? Or adopting common technologies. Successful coordination results in optimal outcomes for all the participants. So that would be like a coordinated game. Okay. Let's talk a minute about social norms and conventions. Game theory helps explain how social norms develop and stabilize over time. And by analyzing individuals, if you look at how people adjust their behavior to align with the expectations of their social groups, you can get a lot of insight into the emergence and the persistence of these kind of cultural norms. And you can also see as shifts occur, and then as they get towards the end of the shift and as things shift back, you'll see how kind of social norms will wobble around, right? You no longer get beat up for wearing those bell-bottom pants. But at my high school, you got beat up for wearing those. You wore bell-bottoms. You got your ass handed to you. Don't do it. Now you can wear bell-bottoms with reckless abandon. No one seems to care. It's weird. Very weird, that one. Anyway, let's talk game theory in behavioral economics. Say, what the smoke? Well, obviously, it's right there in the word behavior, isn't it? Behavioral economics combines psychological insights with economic models. And game theory, obviously, plays a critical role in understanding the decision-making anomalies that occur in behavioral economics. So, three kind of concepts you might want to familiarize yourself with: the ultimatum game, the public goods game, and prospect theory. Right now, you're like, what the smoking hell is he talking about? Oh, don't worry. The ultimatum game. This game demonstrates how fairness and emotions influence economic decisions. One player proposes a division of a sum of money, right? The other can accept or reject it. Now, despite rational incentives to accept any positive amount, people often reject offers that they perceive as unfair, highlighting the impact of social preferences on economic behavior. It's kind of like if you just find two people and say, all right, yes or no, I'm going to give you $2 and him $96. Yes or no? The $96 guy says yes. The $2 guy says no. Like, but you're getting $2 for free. Yeah, but it's not fair. You want to be rich or do you want to be right? So that's the ultimatum game. Okay, public goods game. This game, and in game theory, a lot of these thought experiments are labeled as games so that you can define a scenario and you can work through it. And then as other scenarios fit into that basic category, you've already kind of pre-examined the situation and you're better, you're more fit or more apt to deal with it. In the public goods game, it examines cooperation in contributing to public goods. While individual incentives favor free riding, game theory reveals mechanisms such as punishment and reward that encourage cooperative behavior. It provides insights into managing common resources. For those that are in the, if you're designing cities, if you're designing living spaces, if you a little study into game theory of public goods game, right? Or public goods game, game theory, that will take you on a really cool path where you look at mechanism design. So designing scenarios where people's game theory plays out and the result is the best outcome for the designer. Does that make sense? Basically think about designing a big board game and making sure people play it exactly the right way and creating the reward system for that play. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Prospect theory. Game theory helps model how individuals assess and risk and rewards. So when you deviate from traditional rational choice theory, because what you think is rational in game theory is not what Joe Sixpack thinks is rational at the stoplight, right? So a lot of times what seems obvious is not so obvious when you peel back the layers a little bit. It is mathematically obvious. Like from a math perspective, that's the only way it can be. But that's because you would have a background in game theory. But when you're just looking at a situation, it's a lot of times the best answer is a non-immediately obvious answer. So prospect theory explains phenomenon like loss aversion and reference dependence, offering a much more accurate depiction of real-world decision-making. And that gets into prospect theory gets into weighing the deficit created by cognitive bias, which another day, but there are kind of 25 main cognitive biases that deviate a person from making rational thought, rational decision making. They create statistical consistent deviations, and there's a bunch of those, and they're important to kind of keep in mind. One of the best ways you can improve your own just like personal performance in life is by reading through the cognitive biases and just being aware when you start perpetrating them, and to kind of back off. All right. Well, we know about game theory in basic investing. It makes a lot of obvious sense, right? Game theory provides a very strategic framework for investment decisions, emphasizing the interactions between all the different market participants. Joe Sixpack, the dummy vote, the dummy investor, all these damn meme coin fools, all the idiots that buy XRP expecting a bear or a cartoon Riddler to take it to $589 a token because it's going to take over the whole world. So yes, you need a strategic framework for making your investment decisions, ideally. And you have to account for market dynamics. You want to take a look at herd behavior. Obviously, auctions and bidding come into play quite a bit, but when you're on the market dynamic side, investors constantly evaluate each other's actions to anticipate the market's overall movements. So you're always looking around like, what would dummies do? What's the next, what is the average, what's consensus going to do? And game theory models such as Nash equilibrium, which we talked about a little bit earlier, that helps to explain how markets reach stability through the strategic interplay of the different buyers and sellers, right? So it's all interwoven. If a bunch of dummies do this thing, how can you have profited from that thing? Were you there early? Can you be getting to the sidelines while all those dummies do that thing that they've just now discovered and they FOMO into it because they don't have a structured kind of system of thinking? Maybe. Auctions and bidding. Auction theory is actually really interesting. It's a big part of computer science. There's a great set of videos that were done by Tim Roughgarden, and he was at I think he's at Columbia now, but he was at Stanford. He was teaching through Stanford, Columbia University's computer science and game theory teacher. He also does some consulting for Andreessen Horowitz, I believe, A16Z. But anyway, he did a series of videos on auction theory, Vickery auctions, and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. But it's a whole branch of game theory, and it analyzes how bidders strategize to win assets. And so understanding auction dynamics enables investors to optimize your bidding or buying strategies in very competitive environments, like when you go hit a centralized exchange and jump on the order book, or when you're looking at a DEX, you're trying to knock out some orders, or you're trying to unload some stuff. Auction and bidding theory is very valuable. Most people don't spend any time on it. I highly recommend it. It helped me be successful at token arbitrage really during 2018 and 2019 when there wasn't much else going on. And I did good. I made a lot of money just arbitraging crap tokens through exchanges, but you got to be able to get out of the assets. It's easy to get in them. It's easy to buy them. It's tough to get out of them. Anyway. And then herd behavior, which we all know. What would dummies do? Game theory sheds a lot of light on the influence of the social dynamics in financial markets, the skew, who's participating. And investors often mimic the actions of the people around them. Like someone starts running and everybody starts running. And it leads to a phenomena like, market bubbles, crashes, meme coin, stonks, GameStop, Hertz, go on and on and on. And so if you can recognize these patterns, it can help you make very informed decisions. My main decision when these things start happening is get out of the way. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to participate in junk investing, but I'm not going to bet against it either, because turns out there are a lot of dummies. So many dummies. They have a lot of money. Even a dummy throwing $6 at the market If you have enough of them, it's a lot. It made Roaring Kitty rich. That guy hadn't had an original idea in a decade, but he had one idea: get a bunch of dumbasses to follow my bet, and I win. And he did win. Everybody else lost, but he won. Anyway, game theory in evolutionary science. I think this is the kind of the last one I'll talk about, and that's that in evolutionary biology, game theory explains how organisms develop and all the different strategies they use for survival and reproduction. And why I think this is interesting is because I theorize, so as do many others, but I think we're in the minority, but it's catching on that the underlying math of AI, the underlying math of, what the future will look like and how we got here is game theory. If you pull up the skirt, underneath all the fancy shenanigans, it's the Apple game, right? So, along with that, we would mention evolutionary stable strategies. Okay, we would mention altruism and cooperation, and then mate selection and competition. So, as ESS goes, and this is evolutionary stable strategies, these are strategies that once adopted by a population cannot be easily invaded by alternative strategies. Game theory models like the hawk-dove game illustrate how different behaviors stabilize within populations, shaping evolutionary dynamics. You can go down a whole rabbit's hole with that. But anybody who wants to do some fun research, look up the hawk-dove game in game theory. Very interesting. It's a game theory model. Okay. Altruism and cooperation. Game theory provides insights into the evolution of cooperative behaviors. Concepts like kin selection and reciprocal altruism explain why organisms engage in what we would look at as seemingly selfless actions that ultimately enhance their fitness. So, altruism and cooperation. Sometimes you can be altruistic in a way that's very self-serving. Interesting. Mate selection and competition. Obviously, we saved the best for last, right? Game theory models the complex dynamics of sexual selection, where individuals compete for mates and choose partners based on very specific traits. And so understanding these strategies sheds light on the evolution of diverse mating behaviors across species. And coming soon to an online portal near you, right? So if we know that game theory is the backbone of evolutionary science and basic investing and behavioral economics and social situations and social science, it seems like you would want to have a fair understanding of game theory and you would want to start employing it. If it's the math, if it's the math that's good enough for all of life as we know it, it's probably good enough for us for basic decision making. It is a very powerful tool. It helps us understand and navigate the complexities of human and biological interactions, the strategic interactions and interdependencies between all of the various players in a game. And investing is a game, dealing with family is a game, evolution is a game, sexual selection is a game. It's all games. It's all games, man. You know what else is a game? Population One on the Oculus. That's a damn fine game. I use game theory in that all the time. Anyway, from various social situations to economics to investing to evolutionary science, game theory gives you valuable insights into strategic decision-making and the behavior of those who don't use it. So by recognizing the foundational role of game theory in our lives, we can all better appreciate its potential to inform or at least guide our actions. And then we make better decisions, more informed decisions over time, consistently. And that means more beneficial relationships, more currency units. Bro, do you even game theory? Bro? That's a good shirt. Do you even game theory, bro? All right. We will see you tomorrow. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything. My poor insolvent drunk, starting on meth grandmother, who's definitely a con artist when she was alive, although Don't use the Ouija board because she'll snatch all your shit. All your stuff will be missing. You'll be like, wait, I just used the Ouija board. Why's my wallet gone? Why? Because you talked to Nick's grandma. That's why. Don't do it. Or Brandon, who I'm sure is wearing no sleeves because he says it's over 100 degrees. Man, where Brandon lives sounds like a hell on earth. Anyway, I'm out. We'll see you tomorrow.
If you're an accredited investor and you want in on angel, seed round or early round equity and token opportunities in the artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency space, schedule an interview at nickblacknext.com. In life, you can either be really good, really lucky, or just be first. Being first is so much easier. Schedule a digital private client interview today at nickblacknext.com.